Hey guys, Alex is here, so welcome to the Sunday update. I was looking this chart of a Bitcoin and just wanted to share a couple of things with you. How do I look at it from a technical perspective, and what are the couple of things that I usually do pay attention to what's going on. So let's look at it not just from the Elliott wave perspective. So I will, for this first instance, remove the labels, and then we can look this previous high here and the move down, which happened from November 2021 down to November, almost December 2022-23. But the current rise. So we surpassed the previous high and then we moved lower. So from the perspective of the Fib ratios, we usually look for retracement levels and then we extend that to 127.2. So when you cross 786, which Bitcoin surely did, if you look, then most likely we are going to test 127.2 level, which is at 102K or around it. So if we look just from the perspective retracement levels, we are at the point for a potential continuation higher, in my opinion, after this correction is done, or it is already done. So I will show you also a couple of scenarios that I'm looking. So if I go back and look that from the Elliott wave perspective, I count this as a 5 waves up in one. So there is a different counts that can be applied here. You can also do a leading diagonal here and count this as a wave 2. You can use this as a wave 1 and then this as a, I mean, there is all sorts of labels you can label this uprise, but nevertheless, when you compare the corrections, where we usually search that these corrections are pretty much, let's say, around the same in longitude and also in time, you will see that this correction here, from my perspective or my wave count, is still the largest correction we have seen so far. So if you compare this correction, which has been ongoing here in the possible wave 2, and when you compare this one, and also when you compare this one, which is currently ongoing, they are pretty much, as you can see, sizably smaller than this one here. So when you're looking different degrees, so let's say this is the primary degree and we are expecting some type of a 5 wave move. And then also we look 5 waves up in the intermediary degree in this orange wave 3, which can actually be the one which can test 85, 90K or even 100K. So most likely, if you look the size of these corrections, you will put them in the category of the intermediary degree. You will not put them in the category of the primary degree, because this in the orange labels, you will look as a primary wave, and then when you subdivide the degree, you will look at this as an intermediary development, which also needs to have a 5 waves on the upside, or even if you go on the downside. So when you compare these corrections, you will see that most likely what you're going to derive from this type of a measurement, you can basically have an orientation that points you out, not just looking how the waves inside of this correction behaves, but if you have a bird eye view, you just stand alone a little bit more on the outside. This is just a correction when we try to break all-time highs, and it's kind of a natural you have a corrections while you are trying to reach your new objective on the upside. So usually this, when you test the previous highs in any markets, the breakout might not come immediately. It might kind of consolidate sometime, which I think here is happening. And then while you accumulate the strength and you get some impulse from the news or any other things, you might start to move further on the upside. So in my opinion, Bitcoin is still in some type of an intermediary correction, and we are still going to experience the higher levels. And we can test this 38.2 or 61.8 levels here, where is the 1272 from the perspective where actually we just talked about. So the wave 4, which will more resemble this correction here, is not yet unfolding. Okay, so we don't see here nothing, as I said, similar to this correction. These two corrections are more similar to each other, especially after this steep rise, which actually means that this was the wave 3 of 3, which is almost vertical or 90 degrees angle, and it's more kind of a energized on the upside. So looking all of these small things, you can basically have an orientation, possibly where we are. This is all, of course, conditional if you see some confirmations and some other things. But also you can notice here that 200 moving average is around 50 to 52K. So this wave 4 can even test this one without the wave count invalidation, and then we go on the upside, or it can test this lower levels of this channel, as you can see, and then start to move on the upside. So not necessarily now, we still don't have a confirmation that we can actually uh, uh, label or anchor this wave 4 here at this trend line test. We still cannot do that. We still need to see Bitcoin starts to break a little bit more higher level. Oh, sorry about this. Let me just return some of the degree, and then I will need Bitcoin to see move up this channel, corrective channel, to confirm we are in a higher wave 3. We still have tried to make an entry here with the small stops at CryptoLab. But nevertheless, even if this starts to go lower, it might test a lower bound of these levels between, let's say, 53 to 55K. And I will still stay bullish on a Bitcoin, because this all kind of sounds as a correction, mimicking or trying to actually make a pause a little bit bigger than this one. Okay. Also, the RSI on daily is kind of turning on the upside, and on weekly it's going to test soon 50%. What is good when you see on weekly the RSI falling at this rate and you see just a sideways price movement in price, this actually indicates to you that the uptrend or the underlying strength is still strong. And we can even test some type of a 50% and then moving further higher to test these levels and then turn lower in this wave 4. Okay, so for now, in my opinion, there is no signs that we even try to look. There is nothing so far that we can actually, we even have a small head and shoulder here. I don't look that often, but if we go on a smaller time frame, we can even anchor here. I don't know what's going on with the multi-wave. It kind of let me fix that, and let me take the waves by one at a time. So I will take here a complex correction, which we might be in if we are finished. So what is the conclusion? If this is a complex correction, usually the wave 4 will test 38 or 50%. So if you anchor the wave 4 here and consider this uptrend, which is still not confirmed, to a degree, it's starting further on the upside. We tested 38%. So if you go 4 versus 3, you will see that we tested 38% very successfully, and this trend line, and bounced off. You see how this trend line was reacting here as well, as a kind of a support layer for the further continuation. The same thing here. We tested it, we bounced nicely in a 5 waves, and then possibly we might continue higher. In the case we don't, we have to extend this correction a little bit more, that this wave 4 will actually deep dive, passes this trend line, and then returns higher. In this case, this might be a triple zigzag, which is just ABCs connected with a couple of waves X, and this will look like this, because if you are counting here from these highs, there is no 5 waves here, only 3 waves, which indicates you are in the correction. So this will be 3 waves down, 3 waves up in X. And this will be the first Y wave. Then you're gonna have another X, which might be a flat, 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up. And now we are in some type of a Z, which is the final leg of a triple zigzag, which is a complex correction. And then we might start moving further on the upside. So we are prepared in the both scenarios. I do think we might experience possibly something like that, because I need some other cryptos to align with these lows, which I still don't see that, but it's very close. We have a top 5 cryptos beside Bitcoin, which they have the best charts. And for now, I'm seeing a little bit discrepancy. So this might be also that Bitcoin starts to kind of just going a little bit more sideways here, while these cryptos made this potential low and kind of perfectly align with the Bitcoin for a further move on the upside. So looking the whole picture, I still don't see this as a way to panic. There is nothing impulsive yet here on the downside. This fits by all measures in the correction category. The question is just, do we as some participants in market have a patience to actually withstand that, because these corrections are not particularly very healthy for trading, because there is no trend. They go up and down, and most likely if you try to trade this, you're going to lose money. Most likely, majority do. But for example, here we did announce a possible entry on the upside, because there is a chance that this, after this 5 waves up and 3 waves pullback, this continues higher. And that's, in my opinion, completely justified. I will always do that. Even if I'm stopped out, I'm going to wait a little bit more and try the second time. There is nothing wrong in that, as long as you control the risk. Okay? So just wanted to share a couple of thoughts about the Bitcoin chart with you guys. So I hope you liked it. Please comment and subscribe. And if you want to visit our service, we have a Discord-based service with stocks connected to cryptos. We have a lot of them, top 5 cryptos, also the active charts from the different crypto categories that we track, which are potentially looks nice for an entry and the upside continuation. We also have a new crypto projects investigation, so lots of stuff there for a relatively very good price. So if you want to visit us, you can write me an email at as I said in the beginning, crypto lab Alex with an X at gmail.com. So see you guys there, and I wish you a nice rest of the weekend, and let's see what is going to happen next week. So see you guys. Bye bye.